Hi, my name's Simon. I'm a psychic medium and tarot card reader and intuitive, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm new to this, so I hope that you will enjoy the way I read. Every reader reads a bit differently. We all have our unique style, and I have mine. So I really hope you're going to find it of interest as we go along over the next few weeks and months. So, as I said, this is a reading for Sagittarius. And as we know, Sagittarians' birthdays are around from mid-November to mid-December. And this particular reading is for the months of February, March, Pisces time. So let's see what Spirit would like to offer you, lovely Sagittarians. And at first we have 3 cards that have dropped out. Okay. Now already this makes me feel I'm longing for travel. I'm longing to move on. And I have been a little bit of a hermit recently. That's how it feels. You Sagittarians have gone into yourselves, looking for what you really want to take with you into the next few weeks and months, into the future. And you are actually getting there, even though you may not feel like you are. But in fact, you're working out truly what is worth carrying, what is worth literally, not literally, but what's worth breaking your back for, so to speak, what you really care about. Looking at your ideas, seeing how you can take control of the reins in your life and move it forwards. So at this time, you may have felt that the last few months, maybe even from as far back as September last year, you may have felt lost. You can't see a light. You don't know how you're going to move forwards, which direction you should go in. Should you talk? Should you not talk? And even if you did talk, what would you actually say? It's all going on inside of you. All these thoughts have been playing out over the last few months, but gradually now it looks like that inner turmoil, shall we say, is paying off, and you're starting to move on. Here we go. Moving into calmer waters. I also feel that in relationship to yourself, the dialogue that you're having within yourself is actually becoming much more honest and clear, so that maybe you've been seeing your mistakes. Perhaps you've looked deep into your heart, and any illusions that you've had about someone seem to sort of be breaking down and reality setting in. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but reality sometimes needs to come into the picture, and this feels quite real at the moment for you. So let's see where Spirit want this to go and where the support lies for you as these changes come in. The truth of the matter within a relationship is quite important, and I feel you've been holding back a little bit on plans. You've been holding back on speaking too much because there could be interest from a person who's not entirely straightforward with you, who may be a bit cagey, perhaps a bit needy as well, actually. So I don't feel that interests you. I feel you're looking for independence, Sagittarius. So you're like you're like on an inner life raft at the moment. An inner life raft which is coming towards the shore. Come on, Spirit. Okay, yes. Okay, 3 of Cups. Reason to be happy with yourself at this point, because you've taken yourself in hand. It looks like you're laying good foundations for the near future. It feels like also parties coming up. There may be a visit to the theatre or the cinema coming up as well, which brings you quite a good deal of fun and happiness. Okay, here we are. I think Spirit just want to confirm to you, yes, going inwards, trying to make some sort of material success out of what's been going on. In other words, your thinking. Job that you may not have felt secure about, finally coming in for you. Finally, the offer is settled and we move forwards. The news has been good. It wants to take you to a place where you feel generally better and more in control, as I said. And this comes through with the 10 of Pentacles, the Ace of Rods or Wands, and the Knight of Cups. So, generally speaking, there should be fairly good news for you around a work situation, and that might become even more clear if you've already started the job or just started the job, literally. That will probably become more clear around July time, where you might find that the job in itself brings another offer in. I also have to talk about a relationship here, because your soul searching, your internal conflict has brought you to a place where you can admit old pains. You can admit heartache. I think some of you may have been in a situation actually within your relationship where a third party's been involved. This could have resurrected an old pain for you actually. And if it has, I'm really sorry for you for that. It feels here like the communication has not been easy with a partner. And it's still the communication, the discussions about matters of the heart are not yet quite finished. They still need to be handled, and carefully, because a lot can happen during this time. A lot of misunderstandings can occur at a time when you're trying to settle emotional events, trying to understand events, why you've been caught up in a situation where there's been a third party. Now, the third party could actually be one of you being involved with someone else, or the third party could even be a member of your family or a child, somebody who comes in and perhaps interferes, so to speak, or their presence is awkward within the relationship that you are trying to look after at the moment. So what does Spirit advise you here? Let's have a look. Come on, Spirit, show us what you mean. What you mean. Okay. We have the Death card. So Something has to fall to the wayside here. Something has to transform into either a different situation or a different way of accepting the situation. I feel here we could very much be talking about those of you Sagittarians who have to take 2 or 3 steps up to get into your main front door or where you live. It could be 2 or 3 steps into a house, or it could be 2 or 3 steps that you take to get to the front door of your flat, your apartment. If that's the case, then I would say to you, yes, be protective over yourself. Accept the changes because they are inevitable. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. This is being sent to you by Spirit. There are definitely changes on the way, and the wheel is moving in the right direction, let's say. So you are getting on top of things, and you are in some way accepting the changes that are coming in. I don't think I want to say to you entirely you're losing the relationship, though, because it looks to me like there is actually a willingness to work here. If you're involved with a partner who sits in a single seat of their own a lot of the time, a recliner, or perhaps they take an end of a sofa where they can put their feet up, and so it's difficult for you to perhaps sit next to them and also put your feet up, then my sense is at the moment that you are approaching a time where certain truths are going to come out with regard, I feel, to last year, towards the end of the year. Maybe we might be talking about winter time, November, December, that sort of time. I want to show you what I mean by a seat, which is, I don't know if you can see it really, but to me that looks like the back of an armchair with a person actually sitting in the armchair, facing forwards. So it gives me a very, very strong feeling of a partner needing security, of a partner that perhaps was behaving differently to their usual manner around autumn last year, and that's still making an impression on what's going on now. So I think there are still things that need to be talked through, actually. Certain things which have yet to be said, which belong back in autumn time, but are now starting to come forwards and reveal themselves to you. If you're working under a lady boss, then I say to you, it feels like the energy between you brings a bit more understanding, and you kind of both seem to be pointing in the same direction. But if you're working under a woman, she definitely has leadership qualities, and she is most definitely worth listening to. She may have a slightly irritating personality, that's another matter. But the way she actually thinks things through, her planning, her understanding of human nature, that kind of feels pretty solid, to be honest. Come on, Spirit, what else have we got here for Sagittarius for the months of February and March? Oops, here we go. Right, the Hierophant. Saying to you that whether it's in a relationship or a work situation, that you're better off staying within the constraints of traditional methods of handling things. And by traditional methods, I'm meaning traditional in the sense of if you're dating, for example, rather go out for dinner and rather than arranging some sort of alternative date like caving, for example. Somehow I just don't feel this lady to be too sportive, so to speak. I'm feeling more she's for dressing up, looking nice. Even if she were gardening, for example, she would still want to look nice, wear traditional clothes to garden in. I feel she's a woman who likes to stick mainly to the rules, possibly also a little bit introverted. There may be feelings here of you feeling committed to this person, and it may feel very difficult for you to let a reality check come in because you prefer to look to their good side rather than their more negative side. So my sense is you are actually drawing someone out of themselves. You are managing to reach their heart. Maybe some of the things that you've said have been a bit harsh, but however, there is some sense to the way you're speaking because you've thought it through. So what you're actually trying to explain, what you're trying to communicate is coming from a place of honesty. And let's face it, Sagittarians on the whole are pretty honest people. Apart from, they can be extremely blunt in their delivery. And so that doesn't always go down well and isn't always easily understood and seen for what it is, which is them being truthful. Okay, I'm getting a sense that somebody's moved out of home here. Possibly you, Sagittarians, a lot of you may have moved out of a family home or moved out of a situation that you've been in a bit longer term. I feel that you will feel much better and more blessed in your new place of abode where you're moving to. Feels more comfortable for the time being. You may connect with a lot of women friends at this time, and I feel that perhaps over these next few weeks, any advice being given to you is now going to be heard because you've been through this period of introspection and you so much better know where your feelings want to take you. And so it's okay to listen to good advice around you. You do have some good friends or family that care about you. And I feel you do appreciate their presence in your life, even if it wasn't a time in the last few weeks to listen to everything they had to say. That's fine. You're ready to hear it now. Also, the other feeling I have is good reasons to celebrate. The wheel is turning in your favour, so there is good reason to celebrate here. I feel it's more like a formal celebration rather than it being very informal. So my sense is, like, if you were celebrating a birthday, you might be celebrating a milestone birthday. Some of you Sagittarians, or you may be celebrating a relationship in a more formal manner. You may have an anniversary, a milestone anniversary coming up. So it all feels good, and it feels like it's been worth going through this period of transition to enable this strong outcome to take place. So I hope in some ways that has been of some use to you, Sagittarius. We know how much you love freedom, as I said earlier, and that's one of the most important things in your basic character, to be able to enjoy that space and freedom, to be able to be a bit of a hermit, but at the same time, the other side of you, the other part of you, wants to go out and party, party, party. And it feels to me like party season is obviously coming up soon. And I'm feeling from May onwards, it does look like there are quite a few activities coming in for you. So life is not going to be so boring. If you are actually getting married, which some of you, of course, are, I think the wedding ring that I'm feeling you choose may not be completely and entirely traditional in style. It may not be a traditional marriage band, gold. It may have more detail on it, a pattern on it. It may be just slightly wider than a normal traditional wedding band. I feel slightly unusual or slightly more individual style wedding rings going on the marriage finger, either left or right, depending where you live. If you are looking at marriage, and it's coming up very shortly, which I would say spring, I would say marriage be March, April or May, then my sense is you know each other well enough to know what sort of commitment you're bringing to the table. So enjoy this, love, and be glad that you have this period of introspection for yourselves, because it's brought you to a better place. All right. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that you'll join me again over the coming weeks and months. And I look forward to making contact again. Thank you. Bye.